Hi there, this is Camille Freeman. I wanted to make this video to show you how my assistant Amy and I work together to get my newsletter posted every single week. So first I want to show you in Upbase. Upbase is the task management program that I use. You could do the same type of thing in almost any other program. So whether you use Notion or Asana or any of these other types of things, there's going to be a similar type of setup. So what we do in Upbase is you can see over here is the sort of table of contents, if you will. And we're in the section called weekly newsletters. And in weekly newsletters, there's tasks, documents, files, links, etc. So we primarily use the docs. That's what we're in right now, the documents. And right now, let's just go to the next upcoming newsletter. So this is late December. And the next newsletter I'm going to send is going to go out on January 2nd. So we label it with the date of whatever the date is that's the send date for the newsletter. And you can see that Amy has set up this document for me that just has my template in it, which is what's going to be the subject line, my opening, my kind of salutation, my closing, the section of upcoming. Amy has included some things that are still relevant or that I might want to add in there. There's the recommendation setter section, and then I have actually a section right now called the Newsletter Writer's Corner related to my newsletter book. So basically this template is here for me to work from. If I'm going through the week and I come up with something, I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a great thing to share. I might just come in here and put a little thing that says, I might just stick the link in there with no explanation. I might write a short note, but it wouldn't be formatted and ready to go. But I will add to this particular document as things come up, or if I come up with some ideas of what I might want to write about, I might just jot down some ideas right here on this document. Okay, so then what happens is on Tuesday, the Tuesday before this date, I have it on my task list to write the newsletter. And so at some point that day, usually during a co-working session, I will sit down and write the newsletter. Hopefully I've got some recommendations in here already, so that part doesn't take very long. And ideally I've come up with some ideas on my walk that morning for what I want to say. So I will sit down and usually give myself about 30 minutes to both write this note as well as to update any recommendations, to add anything I want to the upcoming, come up with the subject line, all of that stuff. So that's about a 30-minute process for me. And then when I'm done, I just write it right here and then that's it. I am done with my part of what's happening. So you can see that in tasks, there is an ongoing task, which is write the newsletter. And I'll show you too in our schedule section because that might be easier. So let's go to next week. This is actually the week of Christmas, so there's not very much on my list because I'm taking it off. So I thought it might be, I thought it might be a good one to show. So I'm actually not going to be writing a newsletter next week because of the holiday. But anyway, this is what it would look like if I were. So you can see Tuesday, one of the things on my task list is write the newsletter. This is set up as a recurring task. This is what this little thing means. That means every single Tuesday, it is going to assign me this task. It's going to be in my list every Tuesday. So as soon as I check it off, it populates it for the next Tuesday. So I always am reminded every Tuesday, it's my job to write the newsletter. So I check off this task and I'm done. Then you can see on Amy's list, copy and schedule newsletter in MailerLite is listed on Wednesday. And in here, we've written out a whole protocol of exactly how to do that in MailerLite. So I'm not going to walk you through that. I don't think it necessarily is helpful for you to see that whole thing in this particular thing. And if Amy has any questions, we can kind of converse back and forth beneath this task to help us, just like, oh, this link isn't working, or I thought I found an error. Do you want me to correct it? Any of that kind of stuff we can have a conversation about here. And then there's a reminder of, the SOP for how do you actually do this here. And then Amy checks it off on Wednesday. That way I can go in here and look, has Amy checked it off yet? I know if she has done it. She can see if I've checked off my task of writing the newsletter. So we're both up to date on what's happened. So that's pretty much what happens. And then I can just trust Amy's job is to take what I've written, put it all in MailerLite. She sends a copy to herself and double checks all the links. She posts it on the website and adds a link to the kind of permanent copy on the website to the newsletter. And she schedules it to go out on Thursday, usually at 8:15 in the morning. So we do all of that just right in here. And that way, the only thing that I really need to do on my end is just on Tuesdays, I come in here, I write this, and then I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. What we also do in Upbase that's convenient is we keep copies of all the past ones. So for here, for example, this is the last newsletter that I wrote. You can see this is what I wound up with for Amy to copy over and paste. And so once we're done with it, then Amy just drags it into this folder, December, or like winter newsletters. So December, January, February, all my newsletters will be right here. And then when the season is done, you can see I have copies of all the newsletters I've ever sent since summer 2023 when we started using this program. And that way, if I want to reuse any of them, if I want to go back to links, if I want to see if I've already written about this, if I were to lose access to my newsletter service for some reason, we have copies of it, at least several years worth of emails to do that. I also periodically will back up my subscriber lists from MailerLite and keep a copy here in files as well, just so that, in case anything were to happen, I think it's always nice to have duplicates. So basically, that's how we work together to get the newsletter done. And for me, it's a huge relief to just worry about the writing. And then I have, support to do the rest of it. And that streamlines my life quite a bit. All right. I hope that is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, happy newsletter writing.